Hello, everyone. I'm in San Antonio today doing my last military obligations this weekend. So exciting. But you're not here for that. You're here for the philosophy, or maybe you're not even here for that. Maybe you're here for me to just ramble. But I'm thinking I'm going to go talk a little bit about pain. Specifically because just today, tonight, I had two big projects I was working on, and I accidentally deleted the files for all of them, and now I have to redo them and then refine the files and maybe even, well, recover the files, and maybe they're not even recoverable. So, and it brought on a lot of pain because I've been working on this for about a month and a half, and of course, I'm immensely disappointed. Another reason why I wanted to talk about pain is lately my body's been reacting anxiously to my trip to go overseas in April 2nd to go travel the world for 20 months. It's usually I get a lump in my throat like I have right now of just anxiousness of the unknown, nervousness of the unknown. It's not necessarily my consciousness that is producing this. It's my body's reaction to something that is unknown, the a possible environment that I'm getting into that is unknown. It's uncharted territory. And for my body, we got to think about it biologically in this sense. So we'll take this example of the lump in my throat. Think of it as like a biological example. Whenever you're like hunter gatherers, you understand your environment in and out. So whenever there is something that goes rustle in the brush that is not usually there, you get a little anxious because it's a deviation from the norm. That's also, oh, you get that whenever you get out of your environment that you're comfortable in and go out into unknown territory because it's your body saying, hey, look, it's unknown to us. This place is unknown to us. It's unknown. It's we don't know what's in this environment, what animals are in this environment, what deadly things that could happen. And because it's unknown, you could probably die here. But being in an environment that's familiar and comfortable to you as a hunter-gatherer was positive because, well, you understood the environment. You were understood the dangers, the warning signs, the things you need to watch out for. So your body didn't need to react too anxiously towards it to tell you, hey, look, don't do anything fucking stupid. So that is what you're experiencing whenever you fear bodily anxiety, as I'm feeling, is my body, I guess, intuitively knows that I'm going to be going into an environment that I don't know. It's my first stop is Budapest, Hungary, and I've never been there. It's new territory for me. I'll be all by myself. So I think my body is reacting to that unconsciously and getting anxious. But that is not to say that my consciousness or myself, my authentic self, it needs to be anxious too. I personally don't feel any more anxious than I did 2 months ago. It's feeling more real. It's more it's feeling more real and more, I'm feeling more excitement. I'm feeling more anxiety, but I don't necessarily, my consciousness and my authentic self, they don't feel those things. They can respond to those anxious thoughts, the my body's anxiousness, however I so choose. For example, like I'm doing this a lot with my neck. because with a lump on my throat, what I usually do is I feel very vulnerable. Well, in meditation this morning, I sat down and just put my hands like this, close my eyes, and I had every impulse to do this, to keep scratching it, to do this. But I didn't necessarily force myself to not do it, but I accepted the signs that my body was telling me that I needed to scratch it, that I'm getting anxious, or my body's getting anxious, that it needs you need to get into a comfortable environment, and just accepted it. And this is not to say that you just accept it and then it goes away. What I had to do was accept it, let it go away, and then my body brought it back up. It was like, no, you're anxious, and I had to accept it, put it away, focus on the present environment, and then my body brought it back up and said, no, you need to scratch this, you need to deal with this, and I accepted it and let it go, and then I focused back on the present. I did that enough where I think 8 minutes in, I wouldn't say I'm at peace, but I was at a state where I no longer had the impulse to scratch my neck. I was there in the present moment. So I think it's right to say that meditation is spiritual warfare. You are battling against the feelings that your unconscious is telling you, and also your body is imposing on you. And what you have to do, I think, in these situations is to accept them as they are. Because for your body, it's a lot of biological conditioning, all through biological evolution, and you're not going to be changing that. Your unconscious is mostly based on those experiences you've had throughout your life, the normal experiences, but also the imagined inputs. So inputs, that actions you've done to help formulate your unconscious. And whenever you're meditating, those forces are acting upon you as well. There's so many times where I sit down and I want to just go, run around and have a good time because it's so beautiful outside, and I've conditioned my mind into love of those kind of not necessarily those activities, but to have a lust and love for life, that it's something I have to contend with whenever I'm sitting in my meditation. But that's why it's spiritual warfare. You're battling against your unconscious and your body, in the sense that you're accepting them as they are, but also pushing them away, pushing them aside, or not even pushing them aside, letting them pass through you and not trying to touch it. And that's where the battle is. It's being able to not engage with whatever your body is trying to make you do. It's or not to engage with the unconscious thoughts, with your unconscious thoughts. It's being present in the moment. So that's the little battle. And so to go back to pain, in this instance with the lump, I think of pain, well, not even pain, I think of my body as a helpless child. A helpless child is going to feel anxious. And, well, a better example would be explaining pain itself. So we've always had that metaphor of the child touching the stove, feeling pain, and then screaming, whining, and crying. That's how I perceive my body. My body is a helpless child. Whenever it feels pain, it's going to whine and cry Because it's biologically made to do that, to help protect me. So it's trying to do something good for me, to protect me. But ultimately, I am the person, my consciousness and my authentic self are the person who gets to decide, oh, hey, look, that is a signpost you're telling me, body, you helpless child that's trying to protect me. But I'm not going to listen to it because we have no reason to listen to it. And I'm sorry that you feel that way, but we're going to keep going. And just like a helpless child, in this sense, with me, with my anxiety, my body being anxious, it's going to rebel. It's going to whine and cry, and it's going to say, I'm really anxious. I don't want to do this. This is really scary. And it's also, oh, it's like you're doing something I think that's going to kill you. But of course, going to a different country that is modernized and has accepted hundreds of thousands of other English tourists is not something that I would be condemning myself to death. It's just because my circle of comfort is smaller than what I've done before. I haven't done something like this before, of traveling 20 months or traveling outside the country by myself. So my body only has the experience of what's happened before. So its comfort level is in here, and now I'm expanding out, which you need to expand your comfort level, but your body's going to react in certain ways. Your unconscious is going to react in certain ways. And the best way to do that is to accept the pain as it is, understand the pain, where it's coming from, why it's doing this, and then formulate decisions off of there. So for me, I've accepted this lump in my throat. It might not go away until I leave, who knows, or until I figure out what it is. But I think I've understand it well enough to know that it's starting to get worse and worse, or exacerbating as I get closer to this date of going overseas. So I think it correlates to my body going into a new environment and not liking it. So now with that information, I have understood what my body's trying to tell me, and now I can make a formulated decision on, should I listen to this? Are there parts that I need to listen to? Or do I not need to listen to it? And for me, it's parts. It's a scary thing to go traveling by yourself around the world. It is. You got to keep yourself safe. So I understand that with the anxiety that my body's feeling. On the other hand, like I said, people have done it multiple times before. So in this instance of pain, I'm acknowledging that I need to be safe and I need to take precautions to be safe, but the extent to just not going is ridiculous and silly. Just like the helpless child of the body, it can be sometimes. But you won't get that if you don't try to understand yourself and accept it. And that's, I feel like, with any pain, is it's an opportunity for you to grow, because as you're experiencing a new experience inside you, and with that new experience is something that is able to open yourself up to be vulnerable and to be able to change from that vulnerability. If you never experience pain, you never have pain as one of the most transformational components for your life. For me, my depression and suicide was one of the most transformational moments in my life, because it brought me to a state where I was forced to change myself to keep going. And that was only through the immense pain of not being able to write, to not even be able to use my body much or my mind much in a working capacity. So it was my body was forcing me to sit down, take a deep breath, and say, okay, rethink who you are. And in that sense, pain and was a transmuter of myself. And I think that's what we need to think of pain as more, is signpost to possible changes for ourselves through accepting it, understanding it, and then making decisions on it. So yeah, that's mine. That's my 2 cents, and I think I need to talk about that a little bit because of like my two instances of pain that have felt and I'm feeling. So, but other than that, you know what? I gotta get up in the morning. So I will see y'all later. Bye.